Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Well, again, welcome, Megan. Thank you so
you.
much again for doing this. And before we just get started, just give us a little, you being a Kia, talk about your background and your role there and just, where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to see everyone out here today. My name is Megan Gillam. I am the Director of Marketing, Operations, and Strategy at Kia. I've been with the brand just about 16 months, so I'm relatively new to Kia, not at all new to automotive. Over 20 years in the space. I love coming to auto shows like this. Feels like homecoming. Love to see a lot of familiar faces. Prior to Kia, I spent about 3 years at Meta, leading the product marketing for the automotive vertical. But before that, it was pretty much all OEM side. Started my career out of business school at Toyota. Was at Toyota for about 7-8 years. Had a fabulous opportunity to go back to my homeland, Detroit, and work for Ford and Lincoln for about 7 years. But, I got kind of cold and really missed sunny Southern California, which is what brought me back and took me to Meta and then landed here at Kia. So great time to be at Kia.
Well, yeah, and you joined Kia back in 2023 in July.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, they were right in the middle of the EV9 launch.
Yes.
And that was going to be the most important Kia launch. It was the next game changer for Kia. Although EV demand started going down a little bit. I mean, we've been doing this for a few years, and EV, and then all of a sudden the realities came in, so people have had to sort of switch directions, pivoting a lot. So talk about that when all of a sudden you're going in there with that whole EV launch, and then you had to sort of stop and rethink that.
Reassess, yeah. So it was. We revealed the EV9 back at the New York Auto Show in 2023, and then we really got into our pre-launch right as I was joining, and our original concepts around the vehicle. First of all, it was a really important launch for us for a few different reasons. First, it was the next iteration of our electrification strategy. We were coming off North America Utility Vehicle of the Year with the EV6. So that was really critical to our brand. It was also the first of its kind, the EV9. It was the first mainstream 3-row EV SUV. So really kind of a segment buster. So we were proud of that. And it was the new expression of our flagship, really kind of the continuation of what Telluride did. Back when Telluride was launching, I know a lot of folks at Kia were thinking, oh my goodness, who's going to buy a $50,000 Kia? Well, it turns out a lot of people. We've barely been able to keep Telluride in stock for the last 5 or 6 years. So we're really eager to put another foot forward in terms of EV9. And if anyone attended our press conference this morning, you heard Tom Kearns talk about Opposites United. And that was one of the foundational creative areas that we were exploring for EV9, this juxtaposition of beautiful design, advanced technology, and true rugged SUV capability. So our launch platform was ruggedly civilized, and we started our launch with that sort of emotional connection to the vehicle and what it could do and how customers fit within it. And then as we got toward the end of the year when the vehicle was actually launching, the EV segment had gone from sort of cresting to rapid decline. And as we went into phase 2 of our launch early in the year, we really took a minute to reassess where the market is, how the vehicle was performing, which was reasonably well. But one of the things that we had the benefit of was a tremendous amount of awards that EV9 had won. So for our phase 2 launch, we took advantage of that. We pivoted from a more emotional messaging to a more rational message, which is what EV buyers were looking for at that point. And we went and we took some studio footage of our beautiful vehicle, interior and exterior, and we created a spot that we called Triple Crown, which touted the accolades. So we'll take a look at that.
Named 2024 World Car of the Year. North American Utility Vehicle of the Year. And one of Car and Driver's 10 best SUVs. Innovation can be ever so rewarding. The Triple Crown awarded 3-row Kia EV9.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So that pivot was a lot went into that in terms of deciding, whether we wanted to do another ground-up spot, learning from what was resonating in terms of features, but having won North American Utility of the Year, World Car of the Year, Car and Driver 10 Best, and more than we could possibly ever put in an ad, we wanted to let that speak for us. And that spot actually ended up being one of the highest performing spots that we've had all year in terms of engagement. So we were really excited to be able to put that out in the market, and it's done really well for us.
Yeah, and it's funny, because we heard Vinay talking about that emotional connection, and which is true. But at this particular moment, you really wanted to go into that rational, that practical. What was it about? We were seeing a decline in the EV popularity, but was it also a moment in the economy, or like what made it where that practicality made more sense? Because I know it was your number one spot.
Yeah.
So obviously it resonated with audiences.
Yeah.
What do you credit that to?
Yeah, I think it was, people have so many decisions to make in terms of buying vehicles, and with the uncertainty around the future of electrification and the infrastructure and where am I going to charge, customers needed really tangible reasons to purchase an EV, particularly one that is relatively expensive. We're not a premium car company. We're not trying to be a premium car company, but EV9 is really a premium vehicle. So having that reinforcement from a lot of you, the media, and being able to have a good reason and a third-party endorsement has really benefited. And the other thing with Kia, and maybe we'll talk about it in a little bit, obviously the brand is very different than it was even 10 years ago. So the more that we can give people reasons to buy that are maybe contrary to their previous perceptions of the brand, we like to do that, and we felt that those awards were really able to drive that message home.
And though they were just a few of the awards.
Just a few, yes.
You were just getting a lot of them.
Very lucky.
Yes. Well, and also at the same time, so you not only have the EV9 launch, but then you also have the K4.
Yes.
Which that's, coming after the Forte, and very popular and very different from, you're talking totally different audiences and totally different people who are going to be buying and the way you're going to sell it. So what was the mindset there?
Yeah, it's really a marketer's dream. When I look at, the past year and the primary things we've been able to focus on. We had a couple of facelifts that we launched during the year in Carnival and in K5, but the two big launches were EV9 and K4. So getting to pivot from a flagship large SUV EV to really what some of our bread and butter is, which is the replacement for Forte. So, going into this launch, I don't think it's any secret there are some headwinds in the sedan segment. I think probably a lot of you are also, like myself, old enough to remember when sedans dominated the market, well over 50% of the market, not too long ago. Actually, it was only about 10 years ago, if you can believe it. Now sedans have fallen to less than a quarter of the market. Obviously, a lot of competitors have left the market there. But we had this, so that was one of the challenges that we had. We also, as you mentioned, Rio has gone away. Forte was a very well-known nameplate, and we were replacing that with K4. So we have an awareness gap, and we needed to make sure that this new model was a palatable entry into the Kia brand. And really, over the last, as I said, the segments have been shrinking. Over the last couple of years, there's been, or I think 5 years, there's been 1 million units coming out of the compact car segment. Really, some headwinds there. Also, we had just launched a K5 PE. So K5 just a segment level up. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to really clearly differentiate the two models and give distinct purchase reasons and why buys between the two, as they were both refresh models at the same time. We also had a lot of opportunities, a lot of tailwinds.
I was going to say, when you're talking, even the description, you also gives you an opportunity to, I would assume, reach that younger demographic, which of course you want.
Absolutely. So, as much as there were some headwinds, the tailwinds were terrific too. So over 50% of the compact car segment are Gen X and Gen Y. Fortunately, if we look at our brand health metrics, and Vinay talked about brand health metrics, it's something I think most of us in this space think about and dream about and talk about a lot. Our Gen X and Gen Y buyers have a much higher than my generation and the older generations view in terms of awareness and familiarity and opinion and consideration. So we are already way outperforming with younger buyers. So that was a terrific opportunity to launch into a space where we already have this really captive audience.
Well, and so talk about that launch, because when you are talking that younger generation, so it's very specific in terms of how you're going to go about trying to reach that consumer. So tell us a little bit more details from the K4.
So we're really actually just still kind of in the middle of our 360-degree launch platform. We revealed the vehicle in New York earlier this year, and then we went into a CRM cadence, and we really started our pre-launch in September. One of the good challenges that we had with this vehicle is that there are so many features that are class up, and it's spacious. It's got a very high level of technology for the segment. The vehicle starts under $22,000, so relative to the segment, we have a high degree of technology, and it's very beautiful. We actually, I talk to my team all the time. We can talk about anything, but we can't talk about everything. You can't jam a spot or a social campaign full of 20 different USPs. So we had a task force that got together within the company. We worked really closely, not only within marketing and PR, but also with our research team, with our business intelligence team, our sales team, our product planners, to talk about what are the few USPs and few message points that are the most important for this buyer. And we had a lot of spirited discussion around that, I'll be honest. But what we landed on, the three key things we wanted to focus on were design. And a lot of this goes back to that buyer who is very image-oriented and very active and social. Design, class-up technology, as well as spaciousness. It really is a standout in all three of those. So one of the insights that we got from our customer clinic, we had a buyer that was talking about the design and how, it's the kind of car that when you get out of it, you look back at it. And particularly with this segment, a lot of these buyers are first-time buyers. It's their first new car. Maybe they've had used cars before, but this is their first new car. And we really love that concept. And our friends at David and Goliath, were really great at helping flesh that idea out in terms of, if you're not looking back at your car after you get out of it, you're probably driving the wrong car. So we built this campaign around you can't look away. And we started with a few teaser videos, a few USP-focused videos on social and digital that were around a few of those key USPs. So one was design and fun to drive. One was, and then the rest were really leaning into our up-level technology. So we have surround view monitor, blind view monitor, and wireless connectivity for both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So those were the first videos that we put out in mid-September for the launch. So I'll play those for you now.
See more while being seen. Kia, movement that inspires. Even when everyone's looking at you, you've got the best view. Kia, movement that inspires. If you think looking at it's fun, try driving it. Kia, movement that inspires. More connectivity, less wires. Kia, movement that inspires.
So those were our digital videos that we had in rotation for pre-launch. We were also beginning our social campaign where our agencies did a fabulous job of identifying different moments throughout the pre-launch and launch process where we could have really topical posts within our social platforms, everything from teaser videos to treat your pet day. There's a theme on social where cats on things. People are actually filming cats on different things. So we had cats on a K4. We were able to leverage our partnership with Pet Finder as one of our CSR partners, and we went to a local shelter here and borrowed some of their kitties who were up for adoption and filmed them on K4. We had behind the scenes of the TV spot, which I'll show in a moment, the You Can't Look Away TV spot. We had, everybody knows that distracted boyfriend meme where he's walking with his girlfriend and kind of looking back. Well, in this case, he was looking back at the K4. So a lot of really fun kind of social moments that we were instilling as well. And then in the middle of October, we launched our full broadcast spot, which again was about You Can't Look Away. So this is what it looks like.
Kia, movement that inspires.
I love that one.
Yeah, thank you. That one was really fun, and I have to say I envy Vinay's budget for music in spots. But that was a custom track that actually's gotten a lot of traction, and we're just releasing a longer version of it because it's gotten a lot of demand in the market. So that was kind of fun as well.
Yeah, I agree, and I love the way you talk about building up with social and really leveraging your media mix in terms of teasing it out and then coming with this national spot.
Yeah.
How much is that play because of the younger generation? Or is that something you want to also incorporate into all different audiences?
Yes and yes. It definitely is largely because of the younger buyer base. We're expecting a good 50% plus of our buyers to be young. We know that is where they are. As a brand that is still relatively young, we probably lean a little bit more into broadcast than others because we are still building our upper funnel, but we have to be in social. And actually, one of the things that I'm the most excited about for this launch, and everybody in this room is going to get a sneak peek of this, we're working with TikTok on a first of its kind endemic car configurator for K4 that was built specifically for the TikTok platform. We know that pretty much everybody under the age of 30 and many above the age of 30, I think the average age on TikTok is 30, is there.
No, it also skews older.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised. It used to be, but you're still going to reach the older ones.
Yeah, so we had, this has been in the works for quite some time, and we're thrilled to be able to bring it to market. It won't be launching until December 4th, so everybody's going to get a sneak peek. But what we did is, every car company has build and price on their website, and sometimes there have been some lifts and shifts over to social space. They're clunky. They're hard to navigate. Complexity really makes them not so user-friendly. We wanted to break it down into a simpler, more lightweight, more fun configurator. So our friends at TikTok and Zero Light helped us to build a way for customers to go through on the TikTok site on the platform to pick their trim, pick their exterior color, pick their interior color, and then have sort of a summary and do it in a really fun and engaging way. We commissioned a handful of really popular creators on TikTok to help us do this. And as I said, this is a first of its kind. I just got the video that I'm about to show you at 7:30 this morning. Thank you, Ryan, for your flexibility and putting it into the presentation last minute. So again, this will launch December 4th, but this is a sneak peek of what that TikTok configurator looks like.
Not that colored.
I like the way you look, you look, you look, you look, you look up. I like the way you look, you look, you look, you look, you look up. I like the way you look, you look, you look, you look, you look up. I like the way you look, you look, you look, you look, you look up. I like the way you look, you look, you look, you look, you look.
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks. We're excited about that. Thank you.
Well, so I want to get more specific in the sense, I mean, obviously you're reaching that younger audience, but break it down more in terms of when you're talking about the demographics and the media mix, because you also are seeing more people, more Hispanic market, and to really be affinity to the Kia, but just in general, because when you talk about the media mix, we sort of talked about that a bit, but you're broadening it out a bit. It's not just saying that, that young demo per se.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you mentioned Hispanic. That's a key part of this segment. It's really fascinating. The Hispanic market makes up about 16% of auto buyers, new car buyers, new vehicle buyers. But for the compact car segment, they make up 25%. So there's a huge, huge opportunity there. And also, I talked earlier about how the segment has been shrinking over recent years. With the Hispanic market, their purchases of compact cars have actually grown 18% year over year. So they're a really, really important audience for us. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we were putting some special attention in with that market. We did what we do with a lot of our spots. We transcreated our Can't Look Away spot. So we translated that into Spanish and made sure that we were running that on Spanish media sources and where those shoppers are. But we wanted to do a little bit more. Our partners, our Hispanic marketing agency, Inspire, helped us really think about, what is unique about these buyers. And we found that a lot of Hispanic buyers in the U.S. had to grow up really fast. They were maybe having to help their parents or their grandparents assimilate, and this might be their first vehicle, and we wanted to show them that there's actually a fun side of adulting. And so we created these digital videos specifically for that market to show them that we have a vehicle for them that they can help celebrate that adulting that they've been doing for quite some time. So I'm going to show you a couple of those right now.
Ayuda al tormento con su tarea.
Has sido un adulto por mucho tiempo. Ahora disfrútalo. Kia, movement that inspires.
So that was mothering. And then our other one is translator.
Aquí dice que hay que entregarlo en 2 semanas.
Has sido un adulto por mucho tiempo. Ahora disfrútalo. Kia, movement that inspires.
So you've been an adult for a long time, now enjoy it. So very important segment for us, and we're really grateful for to have those buyers.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I do want to open it up so people have time to ask questions.
Sure.
But just to sort of finally, in terms of the results of this, because I know when we first spoke, you had talked about how you were so proud of the way you've never seen a rebranding and grow the way it has. And talk about that with the kind of results you're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that attracted me to Kia, first of all, Kia is 30 years old, just a little over 30 years old here in the U.S. I was actually in Korea last week, and they were talking about the 80th anniversary, and I was shocked that Kia is that old. It's very, very young here. We were incorporated in 1992, only 11 years before Tesla. So we've come a long way. And as I mentioned before, there might be some, I think Vinay used the word hangover in terms of imagery, particularly among older buyers and older shoppers. That said, particularly spurred by our massive redesign in the brand in 2021, Kia has seen more growth in our brand and more improvement in our brand health metrics than almost any other brand. So if you look at us relative to competitors, over the last 5 years, we've had a 7-point increase in ad recall, 3 points in brand awareness, 3 points in familiarity, 6 points in opinion, and second only to Toyota in consideration. I think they were up 9 points, but really, really terrific increases in opinion. So looking forward, that is what I'm the most excited about, is to continue to grow our brand health metrics. Vinay also mentioned those grow so slowly. Customers have a long memory. So the fact that we're able to leverage younger buyers, leverage our new product, and leverage our new brand through movement that inspires to move those metrics forward is really, really exciting. And in the coming year, we've got a couple launches. We've got the new Sportage, which hopefully everybody had a chance to go see. If not, it's just downstairs. We are also, like many others, we're really committed to electrification in the future, but we also have a broad lineup, so we really have something for everyone. We have a strong lineup of ICE vehicles, a strong lineup of hybrid vehicles, a strong lineup of PHEVs, and a strong lineup of EVs that is going to continue to grow. And we also have really smart leadership. We have really terrific designers and engineers. We have a lot of discipline when it comes to managing our business and working toward profitability. So I think there's never been a better time to be at Kia, in terms of the growth opportunity, and it's really just been a thrill, again, as a marketer, to see that improvement.
Yeah, well, it's awesome. You can see it in you. And let's see if we have any questions for anyone with Megan.
I've got one right here.
Hi, Megan. It's Matt Mendez from the trade desk over here.
Hi.
Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit more about electrification, and I remember seeing that when the EV6 first came out, it did a very effective job at bringing new buyers to the Kia brand. As you've expanded your electrification lineup, do you see that trend continuing with the EV9, or have you really seen it as a way to keep folks with the Kia brand and stay within the family as they look to move towards electrification?
Yeah, great question. We see a ton of conquest, and I think our EVs are one of the best sources of conquest for us. Just last night, I was having dinner with someone who I had just met, and she was saying how her brother and his family had just bought an EV9, and they traded in a Tesla. We hear people trading in Range Rovers. It's not all luxury, but those EVs are our best source, and Telluride was as well. Particularly as we're bringing in vehicles that nobody ever expected from Kia, we're getting really high levels of conquest. One of the things that we're really focused on, though, as well, is during those years of rapid growth for us, particularly during the pandemic, where people couldn't just go into any store and buy whatever vehicle they wanted, we were able to get a lot of new buyers. So we're really focused on keeping them as well. So we do expect to see a continuation of conquest, but we also are really focused on keeping people in the family so they're not one and dones.
All right, we've got one more right here to your front left.
Hi, Megan, right here.
Hi.
My name's Andrew Budkowski from ESPN Radio. You guys have been an official of the NBA. Just very interested to hear how you continue to evolve and expand and be creative within that opportunity that you're working with.
Yeah, we are so proud of that partnership. So we just entered year 17 of our NBA partnership. It has been in year 11, I believe, of our WNBA. So while everybody's just getting on that WNBA bandwagon, we've been there for a while. But that is a core part of our marketing messaging, and it's really a 365-day a year initiative. So we've got from the beginning from tip-off through All-Star to finals, then into the WNBA season and Summer League. We really focus on making sure that we can connect with that audience. It's a huge and very, very loyal audience. We're very recognizable as a sponsor, and we are dedicated and committed to that. We're also looking at that from an omni-channel perspective. We have featured, where's Tanya? MSU,
I'm right here.
Former Spartan alumni,
Go
Draymond Green, in our ads for Telluride before. We're continuing that partnership with him. And now looking into incorporating more WNBA players as well. But that is something that we're very proud of, and we want to continue for a long time.
We've got one more quick one right in the middle here.
Hey, good morning. Wilson Santiago, WSS Consulting. I have a question on your Hispanic spot. Is there a rationale why the spot has the voiceover in Spanish, but the words are in English?
The words at the end or the subtitles?
During the screen, when you put the company's Kia's logos and everything and the names, everything comes out in English exactly as the English spot. If you want to replay it, we can see it.
Do you mean the end, the movement that inspires at the
Yes.
end? Oh, that's part of, so our mnemonic is, it's a good question. That is, we also know that the vast majority of our Hispanic customers are bilingual. We like to do in-language spots for just to ensure that we are meeting those customers where they are. But from the mnemonic, we have global standards. It's actually in English globally. Movement that inspires, even in other countries that are not English speaking. There's an English movement that inspires mnemonic at the end. So that's for brand consistency reasons. It's a good question.
All right. Well, thank you, Megan.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.